Rise of Kingdoms just announced two new Cav commanders. Both are combo, one's open field, one is garrison. One of them has a name that I can't pronounce, so I'm going to call him either GG, Gangnam Style, or Shevsky, because he is a perfect combination of Shajar and Nevsky. And then the other one is David, Garrison Commander, pairs really well with Hector, but let's dive into the kit so you know if you should invest or not. Alright, and here he is, GG, Gangnam-chan, Gangnam Style, whatever you want to call him. Alright, he is the open field Cav versatility combo commander. Alright, his active skill, single target. Not a big fan, but let's read what it does. Alright, you launch 2 combo attacks against targeted troop for the next 5 seconds. That's a long buff, by the way. 5 seconds is a long buff. You gain 5% health, 5% defense, and increase the healing from the Starlight skill by 100%. Obviously, this comes later in his kit, so let's check it out. I think, in general, the active skill is relatively underwhelming. However, I do like the small amount of buffs that it does give you for such a long time. So you take 10% less damage while on the map. This is great. Also works while you're in a rally. I don't know if this will be a rally commander. Probably not, but let's keep going. We have 20% march speed and 30% defense, so more of a tanky commander. And now we get to the actual interesting part of the kit here. Starlight. So when you are in a field troop, you deal 15% more normal damage. That's actually quite a large permanent buff. That's more than people are giving it credit for. I do like a 15% flat all damage buff to, combo and delta formation commanders. Now, while you deal combo attack damage, it recovers a large portion of its slightly wounded units, 10% of the combo attack damage dealt. Units healed by the skill cannot be healed by it again, and cannot be severely wounded, but can be slightly wounded until they return to the city. So this is where I said that he's kind of like Shajar and Nevsky, and you'll see the next skill is a defense reduction, which is literally just the entire reason that you run Nevsky today. But the way that this works is completely unknown. Okay, like I cannot give you an accurate representation of how strong the skill will be. The reason why I'm so honestly excited but also cautious about this commander is when you look at Shajar's kit is very, very similar. You've got a lot of defensive stats, you've got a lot of healing. This has a lot of defensive stats, a lot of healing, and again, a single target active skill just like Shajar. But the thing about Shajar, and the reason why healing has been so hit or miss in, the last few years, honestly, is when you heal up troops, you're healing, and then those same troops can get damaged again, right? It's almost like you're double dipping in your troops to just take more sev wounds. And while you increasing your troop count actually makes you deal damage, you also are taking more damage, right? Does that make sense? It's kind of like it's not exactly just a net positive, right? Shielding has always been better than healing in Rise of Kingdoms because of that mechanic. Now, this basically makes it so that you're healing with almost no downside, right? And I don't think you'll ever get into a situation where you're healing more units than you have in your march. Maybe like an altar where you're like super micromanaging, right? I've seen some insane QSH Shajar reports where it's like you've healed 2 million troops and your troop capacity is 430,000, but I don't think you'll be able to do that with this commander. It's not quite as insane, but I do think that this skill right here elevates it past shielding, right? Like this is better than shielding in my opinion, but I still have no idea how good it's going to be in the open field. Again, I think this is really cool, but I do caution you, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Now, this skill opened the floodgates. I see a lot of people saying 120% defense reduction. That is not how this is going to work. I could not imagine that's how this is going to work. This is going to be, if you hit 3 targets, you have a chance to apply this damage reduction, or not damage reduction, defense reduction of 40% to all those 3 targets, right? You can trigger it 3 times in a single second, like in a single turn. That's how I imagine the skill works. I don't think it stacks, 40, 80, 120. So I think an AoE debuff is always great. If you have Butterfly, this goes up to 50%. You're doing tons and tons of combo attacks, so this debuff is going to be spreading like crazy. I really like this skill. I'm a big fan of debuffs. Even in today's world where people are saying, rings and daggers and webs are not that good, I'm still a big fan of debuffs. It's why I've run Nevsky for so long. So if I ran Nevsky, I'm kind of liking this guy, right? But again, single target. I'm not, going to the grave saying Nevsky is the best commander in the game anymore, because he's not. But yeah, I am a fan, but again, cautious. Now, this is the expertise. You are increasing his active skill. So you launch 2 combo attacks, 1500 damage factor. Now you're doing 3000 single target damage factor. You're getting 20% of stats, and you're increasing the healing from the Starlight skill by 150%. So it is 5 seconds. And I do think that that tries to make it so that you run this commander as a primary, but I have a real hard time running single target damage commanders as primaries in today's world. You just need the AoE to fire off first so that you remain in combat. And even in the day and age where you only get 1 active skill off because your target's running away, you want to do the big damage factor first. I ran this a lot with William Wallace and Liu Che. Liu Che primary was just infinitely better than William Wallace primary in my experience. And that goes for a lot of other commander pairings that I've done in the past, right? I ran Asher with Boudica or Boudica Asher. Asher Boudica always did better, even though you had that big debuff coming with that Boudica, like, I don't know, what, 2 years ago. So I am a little worried, though, that Starlight skill, right, you won't get that healing bonus when you're firing off your other active skill, but because it's 5 seconds long, if you remain in combat, you will actually get that 150 boost on your primary commander, right? So you have active skill from your primary, active skill from your secondary, which in this case which would be GG, and then you would wait 5 seconds, and then you'd fire off that active skill again. I don't know if that's going to be how it works, but we'll see. Again, commander testing and field testing is really going to be where this commander comes in clutch. This commander I am excited for. I was not overly excited for Achilles. I think I undersold that at the start. I gave it a 6.5 on my initial review. I think this commander is not as good as Achilles, but this commander strikes me as about a 6 to a 6.5, and I'm going to up my rating of Achilles to about a 7.5 to 8. I think the expertise on Achilles and the active skill proccing extra times is about working as I expected, but it's 5 target AoE. Just read between the lines, man. 5 target AoE with Delta pairing with Arthur is just really good. I've had the chance to run that in the recent KVKs recently, and it's really good. It's on that BQ Liu Che level. So this commander is clearly not as good as Achilles, but I am really excited for the Achilles and GG pairing. It seems like Achilles really wanted to be healed so that the expertise procs more and more and more, and I think that the pairing is going to be really strong, and we're actually going to go in and look at what pairings I think will be best in a 1, 2, and 3 March Cav setup near the end of this video. But either way, I'm going to caution you on this commander. I think this skill, Starlight, really needs some testing. I don't know if he's going to be run as a primary. It's really tough for me to run single target commanders as primaries these days, but we'll see. Maybe run as a primary, maybe run as a secondary, but I do think that this healing kind of gets rid of the negative downsides of healing and just gives you complete upside. Obviously, if this is healing anywhere from 400 to 500 every active skill, you're getting a lot of longevity with your march. So I feel like I've rambled on long enough. Let's go over the second commander, which is David. I feel like they could have given this guy a better title, like David the Fourth, the Builder. I feel like is kind of interesting, but anyway, Cav, Garrison combo. Without even looking at this kit, guys, I can already tell you that this commander was planned to be released with Hector. So Hector is the new leadership commander that we just got that works really well in a Garrison. It does combo damage when serving as a secondary to a Cav commander. This is a combo damage Cav Garrison. All right, I was really curious because I was like, wait, we're supposed to get a Cav Garrison, but the only thing that we have in their recent release was Eleanor, which is skill damage. So how are they going to make it so that they have a pairing for Cavs with this new release? Well, turns out that they're just going to drop an extra commander, which was Hector, and then give us David in the span of about 2 months, and now none of us have any gold heads left. So if you are a Rally or Garrison, I'm sorry, because I feel your pain, because that's me right now. But anyway, let's go into the active skills, all right? This active skill is very good. It's very, very good. It's AoE. I'm not sure why they gave the Garrison commander AoE, but look, no matter what, there is always some poor schmuck that crosses in front of the AoE or is standing where they shouldn't be or didn't swap alliance tags. AoE gives you a lot of kills that you don't see in the 1v1 reports that really just win KVKs in the long run, right? It's why Hera's been good for so long, even though he gets dunked on by most rallies. Anyway, stop rambling, Kane. Let's look at the skill, all right? Launches 2 combo attacks to 3 enemy troops, 1400 each, so 2800 damage factor for each target, reduced by 15%, and then you cleanse some slow poison exhaustion and normal debuff effects on you. This is really, really solid. Again, 2800 damage factor, 3 target AoE with the cleanse. I like it. I like it a lot. You have 35% defense. Great. Flat stat stick, a little bit less than what we normally see, but you take less skill damage. So this is obviously countering that Shapur Asher rally that we see a lot of the archers throwing at us these days. So you deal 10% more combo attack damage in the third skill. Okay, cool. 10%, not too much, but at the same time, I'll take any buffs. I would have preferred 10% normal damage because that's just better than combo attack damage, as it also increases your anti-swarm for garrisons. But this next part of the skill is actually really, really solid. It's 100% proc chance every 3 seconds, doing even more AoE. So this is just throwing out tons of little combo attacks, which the strength of combo attacks sometimes is not actually the damage, it's just the combo attack. It's proccing more things, it's generating more rage, it's proccing more things on your iconic 5 sets, it's proccing more rings, it's proccing more horns, it's more procs on procs on procs, right? So the fact that you are just launching an extra combo attack every 3 seconds that also hits things walking by, I think is very, very good. So this will be very solid in the garrison. The fourth skill is whenever you use an active skill while you're attacking something on the map, so a rally is something on the map, you deal 40% more combo damage for 3 seconds. This is just super good. You're dealing 40% more combo attack damage with your secondary commander. Yeah, I don't see how this is ever bad. Now, the duration of 3 seconds, really, I mean, it could be 2 seconds. I don't think this entirely matters too much. You're just getting the bonus on the secondary commander and then maybe some other combo attacks that you deal in that 3 second range, but this will always be up, right? You'll use an active skill and then, yeah, you'll be good. So because it says this commander's troop, that makes me think that this commander has to be the primary. Now, you would run this as primary no matter what because Hector is a secondary commander, but maybe for future investments, right? Like, or future Cav garrison releases, this commander still has to be the primary, but we'll see in the battle reports. And then lastly, when you're starting as a garrison commander, you take 10% less damage, love tankiness, and when you have less than 15% units remaining, you deal 5% more damage. Not really a super strong expertise, but, you know, I'll take any defense on the garrison. So I don't really have to tell you guys, a lot of people won't be investing in this. I think the AoE is good, but I think this will obviously be the new Cav garrison paired with Hector, and you're good. You're just solid on it. You don't really have to think too much about it. So, but with the actual kits explained to you now, I want to go over the pairings for Cavs, which actually are super exhausting because there are so many different ways to pair it. But yeah, we'll dive into it. Let me open up the tier. And here we are in the tier list makers. So right off the bat, I would like to apologize that I don't have all the avatar frames for all of them. I feel like Tony Stark's father in the second movie is like, I'm limited by the technology of my time. I just couldn't find the the actual avatar heads. And so I will go ahead and say the names out loud in case they're a little bit difficult to see for the video. I just have their entire avatars. Anyway, a lot of these marches are going to depend on a lot of things. First of all, they're going to depend on your investments, your armaments, your formations, your actual gold heads, how many you have left, your spend level, not only that, but your playstyle. And I think that that's really important in today's day and age. I think the ability to have options and play with what is best for you is really, really good. So what I say here might not work the best for you. And guess what? That's okay. And that's a good thing for Rise of Kingdoms. But what I think is not going to be debatable is the #1 best Cav pairing in the game. This is going to be Arthur as the primary with Philip as the secondary. I went ahead and I tested this a lot in the 2359 KVK that's going on right now. This is up there with the likes of BQ and Liu Che. Super, super strong. I don't think it's quite on the QSH level, but it is really, really good. By far the best combo in the game for Cavalry. And honestly, it traded like 4-1, 5-1 on most reports where it didn't just swing wide and get absolutely crushed. But that opens up to what do you run for 2 Cav marches? And this is where most people, I believe, are just going to run the Huo, and they're going to run the Joan of Arc. A lot of people, I think, have tried this combo and has worked fairly well for them in the past. I think it will remain being a good combo pairing for, I mean, I say combo, they're not combo commanders, but they work well as a combo. Wow, that's confusing. But what is now debatable is whether or not you should move Arthur to a secondary. Now, this is where you got to think of your murder ball as a whole. Just because Huo and Arthur as a combination is better than Huo than Joan, it might not be worth splitting up the Arthur and the Philip. And this is where I tell you guys in the audience, please wait for testing to see truly how good GG is. But there's an argument now to where you bench your Joan, you bring in your GG, and you move your Arthur down. So you run Achilles with GG and then Huo with Arthur. I think this is really, really solid. I also like the Joan Arthur pairing. Again, this is one of those depends on your playstyle type marches. I think Joan with Arthur actually has performed better than Huo with Arthur in some cases in my experience. So that's up to you. But for 2 marches, that could be good. Now, for your average player, is that worth investing 700 gold heads into a commander that might be a small upgrade for your murder ball? Probably not. I will say that most people should not do this. Most people should just run the tried and true, Arthur and Achilles, Huo with Joan, and I think you're good. There is an argument to be made for those 2 other pairings, but again, I don't think it's very likely. Now, if we are getting into the 3 march setup, I really tried to think of like 1 delta, 2 wedge. I couldn't find anything. I could not find anything. I'm not running Huo with William in today's age. I'm not running Nevsky William. It's just Joan with Nevsky. Like, it's just, especially if you're bringing this guy who pretty much just replaces the Nevsky debuff, the value of Nevsky goes way down in the open field. And so I just couldn't find a situation where I would recommend 1 delta and 2 wedge commander pairings. So what path does that lead us down? Well, that leads us down the 2 combo pairings and then 1 wedge. So we then split up the Achilles and the Arthur. I think that is just a given. You make the 2 most powerful combo commanders and you split them up, then you give them some secondaries. And now this is where you're probably going to run the new guy, right? The open field commander, I'd say he works a little bit better with Achilles as a combination, but at the same time, Arthur needs to be a primary. So if you run it like this, then you could bring in the Attila, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't like this march. I don't like this march, but it can work. If you're a more aggressive player, you like to dive into murder balls, you're sad facing, you're repeating, you're going, you're getting your marches hit a lot, the Attila will do fairly well. The amplification that it has for your Achilles is solid, but I would not necessarily recommend this march. What I would instead do is I would do what we've been doing all along, and I'd bring out the Philip. So I'd run the Arthur with Philip, and I'd run the Achilles primary with the GG secondary, and then keep your Huo Joan up here, and just be happy with this, and you're good. You could get really crazy and go super glass cannon, bring the new Garrison in. I don't think that he's necessarily insane for the open field, but you could try it. Who knows, man? Something like that could work, but in general, I think these are the 3 marches that you're going to run for your 3 calf setup, which unfortunately seems like I'm going to have to invest in. Oh God, Lilith, I need more gold heads, please. Well, sorry for the crash out there. That's it. That's it for the video. I will say on the topic of gold heads, though, I'm very, very happy that they are coming to the shop. So Achilles and Hector are coming to the Legendary Tavern. I do have 6 of these saved up. I will have probably 8 by the time KVK rolls around, which is awesome. That's 80 gold heads. So very happy. As far as the rest of my gold heads, I don't have much else. So I've got 766. That's enough for 1 commander. If I need both, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I guess spin every wheel to the max. Use these gems and don't do egg event. I don't know. I got to figure it out, guys. Oh, too many commanders, too many things to do. Ooh. At least it's a good time to be a Rise of Kingdoms player. My goodness. All right, guys. Let me know what you think about the new commander in the comment section below. I hope you stick around. I will do some testing when these commanders drop, obviously, and I have high hopes, but honestly, I wouldn't mind if GG isn't that good, so I don't have to invest in them. All right, guys. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.